Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a story that is honestly way stranger and far more challenging than fiction. I mean, when we think of Cristiano Ronaldo today, the image is pretty much godlike, right? We picture the absolute pinnacle of athletic achievement, massive global fame, and just unimaginable wealth. But, that is really only half the story. Our goal today is to peel back the curtain and uncover the severe poverty and heartbreaking sacrifices that actually forged this legendary status. We're talking about struggles that literally almost ended his dream before it even began. So there's this absolutely stark contrast between the man we all know today and the boy he once was. On one side of the coin, you have one of the richest, most successful footballers in all of human history. But on the other, genuine, grinding poverty. We're talking about a young boy sharing a single room with his siblings, living in a household that actively struggled just to afford the absolute basic necessities. This isn't just your standard sports biography. No, this is the ultimate rags to riches hero's journey. And understanding this massive gap is the real key to understanding the man himself.
Section 1. Growing up in Madeira.
Born on February 5th, 1985, on a Portuguese island, his family was definitely not wealthy. In fact, money was always tight. And I want you to really think about the gauntlet this kid had to run in rapid succession. At just 12 years old, he faced a massive relocation. Then, in his teenage years, a totally terrifying medical diagnosis. And then in 2005, a profound personal loss. This was not some gentle, easy ramp up to superstardom. No, this was a brutal, rapid-fire sequence of emotional and physical hurdles. But despite living in a tiny home where things were incredibly tight, there was this one constant for him. Football quickly became his ultimate escape. Think about it. When you're sharing a crowded room with all your siblings and your whole environment is pretty much defined by what you don't have, a simple ball and a pitch offer a completely different reality. Football was literally the one place where he had control. It became his crucial escape route from the harsh realities of his everyday life. Section 2. Leaving home at 12. To actually chase this escape route, he had to make an impossible choice. Leave the island and join Sporting CP's Youth Academy. 1,000. I really want you to stop and think about what that number means for a child. 1,000 kilometers. He moved nearly 1,000 kilometers away from his family, away from his friends, his siblings, and absolutely everything familiar to him just to go live in Lisbon. Can you imagine making that journey at just 12 years old? The massive scale of that physical distance perfectly mirrors the huge emotional distance he was suddenly forced to navigate, totally alone. And the reality of that move? It was incredibly harsh. As a 12-year-old kid in a completely new, big city, he experienced extreme loneliness and homesickness. And to make matters even worse, he was actively bullied by his new teammates. Why? Because of his Madeiran accent. Kids can be really cruel, And being an outsider from the islands made him a super easy target. But listen, this is exactly where we see the first real sparks of his character. He flat out refused to give up his dream. Instead of retreating into his shell, he absorbed all that bullying and completely weaponized it. Section 3. Heartbreak and health scares. Just as he was finally finding his footing away from home, bam, he was hit with these terrifying roadblocks that threatened to take absolutely everything away. First up was the physical threat. As a teenager, Ronaldo was diagnosed with tachycardia. Basically, that's a heart condition where the heart beats unusually fast. Now, that is a terrifying medical term for anyone to hear, let alone an elite youth athlete whose whole life is running. Doctors explicitly warned him that this diagnosis could entirely end his football career before it even truly began. I mean, everything he sacrificed, the 1,000-kilometer move, the bullying, the homesickness, all of it was suddenly at risk. But fortunately, he underwent a medical procedure to fix the rapid heart rate, and thank goodness it was successful. He recovered, got right back to training, and kept right on chasing that dream. But you see, that physical scare was paired with a really deep emotional burden back home. One of his absolute biggest childhood struggles was watching his father, José Dinas Aveiro, battle a severe alcohol addiction. Ronaldo himself has actually spoken about how incredibly painful it was to see his father struggle like this. That is just a profound, heavy weight for a young man to carry while he's out there trying to perform at the very highest levels of competitive youth sports. And tragically, that battle ended in heartbreak. His father passed away in 2005. I want to anchor on why this specific emotional struggle matters so much to his story. You see, José Dinas Aveiro died before he could fully witness his son's incredible, world-shifting success. That is a profound heartbreak that Ronaldo still carries with him to this day. It became this massive driving force, playing for a father who isn't in the stands to see those trophies being lifted. Section 4. The turning point. So how does a person even process all of this? The poverty, the bullying, the terrifying heart surgery, the tragic loss of a father? Well, he built an unmatched work ethic out of sheer necessity. These immense hardships didn't break him. No, they directly fueled his legendary drive. He made a conscious choice to let his performances on the pitch speak way louder than any insults about his accent. He trained longer than almost everyone else. He stayed late after practice to constantly, relentlessly push himself to improve. Every single obstacle we just talked about, it just became another reason to work harder. It was a relentless, almost obsessive mindset, completely born from the fear of going back to the poverty he came from, and this burning desire to honor the sacrifices he'd made. And man, that relentless mindset yielded undeniable results. This insane work ethic earned him a place in Sporting's first team, which, of course, caught the eye of the biggest clubs in the world, leading directly to his massive professional breakthrough, a life-changing move to Manchester United. And that right there is exactly where the entire world truly began to notice him. The rest, as they say, is history. Section 5. A legacy of resilience. When you look at his career today, it's honestly so easy to just see the flashy footwork and the innate, God-given talent. But his story isn't just about talent, not at all. It is about unparalleled grit. He literally turned poverty into motivation, loneliness into determination, and setbacks into stepping stones. So the next time you see Cristiano Ronaldo lifting another trophy or breaking yet another impossible record, remember this. Remember that behind every single moment of modern glory is a childhood completely filled with sacrifice and relentless perseverance. What an unbelievable journey, right? It leaves us with a pretty profound question. Is legendary greatness something a person is just born with? Or is it forged entirely in the fires of early adversity? It really changes how you see the man on the pitch. Now I want to hear from you. If Ronaldo's story of resilience inspired you today, please engage with this explainer. Leave a like, hit subscribe, and sound off in the comments below with who you want us to learn about next. Until then, keep pushing through your own obstacles, and I'll see you in the next explainer.